Good morning. It is Sunday the 7th of August at 20 to 10 in the morning. Yes, I'm up a little bit late. I managed to hit my snooze button for like an hour and a half, which is not ideal, but I went to bed late, so I'm tired. I've took Nellie out. I remembered to have breakfast, which is good. And the first thing I want to do, although I kind of don't want to do it at the same time, is, like I keep saying, move this room around and try and get that all sorted. But I'm concerned it's going to be a right hassle, it's going to take ages, and I'm not going to be happy with the results. So, I suppose I won't know until I try. So, it's time to start shuffling furniture around, I guess. Now, I would quite like to do a time-lapse of it, but unfortunately, I don't know where I can put the camera because everything's going to be moving around. So, wherever I sit it, it's going to end up moving, and it'll just look all janky on the time-lapse. I could stick it to the window. I've got a window sucker for the GoPro. And this is said sticky thing. Oh, jeez. There you go. Wasn't so bad, was it? Maybe a bit lower down. I can't be bothered.
Me and my girl, we do cardio. I bang like Mario, cause stress likes the cardio. But that catches party on. I'm a Gemini, and she's a Scorpio. But that don't cross the minds when we on the cardio.
We're not going to have a time lapse of the whole thing because I want to talk my way through it. So I'm thinking something like this, where I've got a nice sort of corner shape, which is what I used to have when I first started using this room, but I used to have it on that wall instead. So it would come away from there and go across there. And I did like that, but it did feel a little bit boxed in again when my desks are absolutely full of screens. But this does leave me a substantial amount of room here between the desk and the window, and enough there for my rug, probably some VR stuff, and also like my exercise bench and things. I am going to move my screens and stuff around and get that all set up differently, but I just want to move the whole thing for now and see how it goes. Okay, so having it really long like that does give me a lot more desk space, but I don't know if I need all that whole length for the desk. And it gives me a bit more room this way as well, but I've got absolutely no room here at all. So I think that would be a pain in the bum for just like wanting to move around in the office. So I think the T shape or the corner shape is the way to go. And I know you can get corner desks. I've actually got one upstairs. Jack uses it in his room. That's Jack's desk now. So I can't have it anymore. Okay, my next problem with this is that I would really like my PC to be there, which is in the corner, so it would be out of the way. But even though I've already got very long HDMI cables, it's not going to reach all the way around the back to the monitors. So I think it's going to have to go there on that corner, which means it's going to sort of stand out like a sore thumb, really. I suppose I could get longer HDMI cables, but I'm not going to be able to get any today, and obviously I need to put this back together today, so I might have to consider that and then move everything again in the future. But HDMI cables are really expensive. I could probably find some extenders somewhere online, or maybe even, I don't think there's any shops that sells them anymore around here. Everywhere's shut down. Well, I wasn't planning this, but the third monitor that normally sits on top of my PC, I've decided to put on a VESA stand or a VESA mount next to this one as a portrait monitor. Now, I don't really like the whole spun round portrait wise, but to be honest with you, that one I really only use for either having OBS on it or for, well, in this case, it'll be for reading chat while I'm live streaming. So I think vertically it's going to take up less space and hopefully offer me a bit more real estate advantage. So I'm going to see how I get on with it, but I'll probably end up spinning it round again. Well, this is by no means a fast process. It is now 20 to 11 and, well, on the face of things, I'm not really all that much further ahead because I've been spending a lot of time trying to work out how I'm going to get electricity to all this and do some form of cable management, although it's a bit of a bird's nest at the minute. I mean, the problem with, well, everything really is that you've either got wires that are way too long or wires that are way too short, and trying to make everything fit in the perfect sort of setup that's going to suit you is really difficult. I mean, take these LG monitors for instance. One of them's got a tiny weeny power brick that just sits there. The other one's absolutely ginormous. It's bigger than the one for my laptop, and it's just squeezing things in. There's just so many things that need plugging in, particularly on this side of the desk. So you've got 3 monitors, all with separate power supplies. You've got a video camera, you've got the Go XLR and a sound bar. Then you've got to think about your microphone cables, your HDMI cables, your display port cables, and it's just the list never ends. So I've got the cables for the displays coming down here, and they do all reach just about to the PC, but some of them don't reach long enough for me to spin the PC round that way, because I'd really like the grill to the wall, but it's going to have to face this way, which means whenever you walk into the room, you're just going to be greeted by just a mess of this back of this PC, which I really don't want. But my cables are just like 6 inches too short, so there's not much I can do if I want it to be like this. So I'm already having second thoughts, but I'm way too far into it to stop what I'm doing. So I'm going to do it, see how we get on. And wow, having this on wide rather than like a narrow screen really doesn't have to make your face go all like fisheye lens. So I'll switch it back now. It's just gone 11:15 and I've got everything turned on, although I haven't finished plumbing everything in and there's a lot of stuff missing. But it's not ideal really, because, well, first of all, the long monitor is difficult to see from that angle. It just doesn't work vertically. It just looks really almost washed out at the top and the bottom, so I don't see that's going to be particularly great. I'm using this monitor to switch between desktop and that one, so I don't need to have yet another monitor plugged in when I'm recording on the laptop. I now don't have a microphone plugged in the laptop. However, I do have my main microphone plugged in up here, which I can now sort of pull down in front of my face, which I'm recording, which I like. But in order to use that with the laptop as well, would mean that I've got to have the Go XLR switch in between both, which I could do, but if I forget to have it plugged into or switch to the PC and I turn the PC on, then the PC is going to forget all of its settings, which means my streams are going to be constantly broken. So I kind of want that to have its separate microphone still, but now I don't really know where to put it. So it's not a positive experience yet, but I think we're getting somewhere. I'm not sure. I'm a little bit kind of thinking I wish I hadn't started this. Okay, I've had another little bit of a move around with the screens, and now I've got it up above the other two monitors, which is much clearer to see, much easier to see. But the downside to that now is that it does feel a little bit like everything's looming in on me, and I'm losing that whole, the point of this was to be away from the wall and stop feeling like I'm facing the wall. And now I'm just facing a wall of screens, so I'm not overly keen. The other thing I'm in two minds about is whether or not to put my Apple Mac back on there. See, I only ever use that for recording music, and I barely ever do that, like maybe once or twice a year, if I've got 5 minutes and I feel like I'm in the mood to do it. So does it really need to have a constant space on my desk? I mean, in the perfect world, I would use the Apple Mac as a third monitor instead of that thing, because it's a much nicer monitor. It's very clear, it's nice and bright, it's big, it's easy to position. And you used to be able to do that. You used to be able to run like monitor or HDMI in or whatever it was, but it just doesn't have the functionality anymore. They took it out of the software, so I can't do that, which is a real shame. It's 1 o'clock, things in the office have not moved on at all. I've actually been out for, just less than an hour, just sorting a few bits out, and it's time for lunch. And all of my ham is about to go out of date, so for lunch I'm going to have ham and eggs, keep it simple. I've hardly done anything today. I'm probably not going to be doing a great deal today, so I don't want to overload on things and overeat when I'm not going to be doing much with it. Well, I wouldn't exactly say I'm finished. I've still got junk absolutely everywhere, but I think this is the setup I'm going to be going forward with, at least for now. So let's take a step back so you can see. We've got the angled desk like we had before. Third monitor over there next to the laptop. The laptop's actually connected to that monitor, so that when I'm recording Minecraft videos using the laptop, I can just drag this microphone over here like this and use this screen, so I'm not sitting in any different position or feeling any different from doing live streams or just general computer use. And when I am doing my normal computer stuff or my live streams, I will grab this microphone and pull it forward, and then I'll be sat there like that. I've got my lights set up, I've got my ring light up there, and got my teddy that Roth made me, and my head that Tom made me, and my light, and that's pretty much it, which is a significant downside from what I had before in terms of equipment, because there's, 2 less computers on the desk, another laptop down, which means I've just got junk absolutely everywhere else. So, time to tidy up. It's almost 5 p.m, which means it's time for food, and I've cooked chipolatas with tomatoes and veg and stuff in there. Kind of a little bit like the recipe that we did previously, but I didn't have half the stuff on there, so I kind of made it up as I went along, really. And hopefully it'll be quite nice. As usual, it doesn't look like much on the plate, but it's made enough for 2, so I've got plenty for tomorrow, and it's got all the tastiest things in that I like, so I'm pretty sure it's going to taste nice. And I need to feed Nellie. Get it then. Get it, good girl. It's Monday. Yet another Monday. The 8th of August, 7:05 a.m. I'm out with Nellie. This time we're on the other side of the ditch beck thing. Oh, what a time to be alive. I went to bed really early last night because I was just, I don't know why, because I've not really done anything the last few days, but I was just exhausted. And yesterday and this morning, I just feel like my body's seizing up. I just feel really stiff and heavy. I don't know if it's because I've stopped being quite as active as I was the first 3 weeks, or if it's just because I did that boxing VR thing and used different muscles, or because I'm, effectively losing weight because I'm on a calorie deficit, so my muscles are going to be eating themselves alive. I don't know what it is, but I don't feel like mentally tired or drained or anything. I just feel really like a sloth. So that's not ideal. But the good news is it's Monday. We've got the whole day to be making Minecraft videos and doing all that sort of good stuff. Getting back on track. One of the things I'd really like to do is actually come up with a schedule again. I really need a schedule to get organised and get into things. I don't have one. I need to start live streaming more regularly, starting my YouTube live streams again, but I'm kind of in a sort of semi-panic mode that I know I've only got this week to make content before I go away, so I don't want to waste any more time. I wasted all yesterday moving the office around, which is totally my own fault. The other thing I've got to do today, I've got to take Nellie to the vet. She's, nothing terrible, but one of her eyes has gone really gammy, and she's had it before, and she just needs some eye drops, so got to sort all that out as well as soon as the vet's open. So yeah, it's going to be probably another relatively busy one. I'll hopefully squeeze some good eating and some exercise in there as well, and see how we get on. I'm currently recording my next Truly Bedrock video, and I'm at the point in the video where I really need a couple of characters to be AFK gathering me some resources at my Guardian farm. And normally I would do that by plugging in another laptop or using my other PC, which of course uses many electricity. So I thought I'd be smart and use a very old iPad and my very old phone, get those connected instead, because, well, they're just ridiculously power efficient and aren't going to cost me many electricity at all. As a result, with both of those running Minecraft and my laptop running Minecraft connected to my second screen, I'm currently, according to the smart meter, which is right down there, using 300 watts of power instead of using my main PC and churning out 600 watts of power. So even with 3 devices connected, I'm using half the power I would be just to have one account on one PC. So I'm feeling good about saving money. And I really like this setup now. It's growing on me today. I've moved the whole thing back even further by moving the filing cabinet from there. It's now there instead, which gives me even more space at the front here for exercises and things like that. So yeah, I'm happy with the layout. We'll see how I get on with it over the next few days, I guess. The other advantage of using devices that have batteries to record is that, well, occasionally those batteries fully charge and that takes up even less power. So at the moment, all 3 devices are still running exactly as they were. And according to my little smart meter, which is down here, we're only using 200 watts of power, which is only 100 watts more than like my fridge and freezer. So this is excellent news. Very cheap Minecrafting. Doing a little bit more maths, based on using the computer for 8 hours a day, which is about average. But I probably don't do that every day of the month, but nearly every day of the month. That will save me around about £25 per month, which is over a third of my electricity usage. So it really does make a big difference. I know it probably seems like I'm sort of overhyping the money savings, but that's a massive amount. That's like the cost of a phone or my TV subscriptions and stuff like that I'm just saving every month, which is fantastic. It's almost 12 p.m, which means it's time for food. I've been recording my TB episode pretty much all day, which is good. Nellie's booked in for about 3 o'clock this afternoon at the vet, so that's not anytime soon. So I'm going to grab some lunch, and then I think I'm going to do a YouTube live stream because I'm at a point in the video where I need to just do a load of digging, and, well, I might as well share it, hadn't I? Now, obviously, I need to do some exercise as well today, but I'm going to do things a bit differently. I'm going to start preparing lunch, and because I'm going to be doing some mince, I prefer to leave that cooking for a while. So once I've got everything prepared and that's just in the oven, well, getting tastier, then I'll do my exercise. I've done 31 minutes. It seemed really hard work at the start, but I think I always feel like that when I just first start a routine. By the end of it, it wasn't too bad. I did, I think, pretty much as I did last time on most of them and more on some of them, which is obviously a bit of an improvement. I am tired, I'm very hot. Time for a shower, and then I need to get that lunch. Hopefully it's not burnt. Well, a little bit of it stuck to the bottom of the pan and burnt a bit. I didn't bother putting it in the oven, I just left it in the pan on low, which is fine. I'm sure it'll be okay. As you can see, I've got two very, very tasty looking burritos. Yum. We just got back from the vets. Nellie did not have a very good time. She absolutely hates the vets, but she's a funny dog because she's never, ever like bared her teeth or growled at anyone or bitten or anything like that. And she was so terrified of the vet that she literally clung onto my leg with her front paws. The only other time I've ever seen her do that was when we first picked her up as a puppy and we wanted to put her in the back of the car, and we had like a travel cage thing in the boot of the car, and she was just so terrified. She literally with her front paws hung onto my arm because I was holding her up, and she wouldn't go in. And that's the second time she's done it. Literally, it's so weird to explain the dog literally like a kid clinging to your leg to avoid the vet. So the vet needed to look at her mouth for a problem with her gum, which is fine. She's got some antibiotics for that. And then I've got some drops for her eye to get rid of this conjunctivitis. So all in all, it was a pretty horrendous trip for the vet for Nellie. And the good news is though, it only cost me £100. So now we're home and Nellie's had all of the treats that she could possibly eat and more, and she's all happy. It's time to do that live stream. So I'm going to get set up, do a live stream on YouTube and see how we get on. And there we go. It is now 10 to 7. I've just finished streaming. I streamed for 3 hours in total. I've not had anything to eat yet, so I'm going to go and warm up what I made yesterday and eat that. And then I'm going to go and chill out for the rest of the day, which means poor old Nellie hasn't had her second walk, and she's here saying, "Oh, you want to take me out for a second walk?" Sorry, Nell. Maybe tomorrow. Or maybe later. We'll see. But I need to eat first, okay? Cheese. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow.